when the world falls silent, when the air thickens with a silence that is not peace, but patience, that is the moment you stop being a visitor in the wilderness and become prey. This is the story of Elias Vance, a man who understood nature better than most, a former wilderness guide, a wildlife biologist, a man who thought he knew every sign, every shadow, every subtle shift in the wind. But even Elias had never faced a hunter quite like the ghost. The setting was the Redwood backcountry. Miles of tangled fern and ancient wood. A cathedral of towering trees that blocked out the sun. Elias had been hiking for 3 days. Deep into the reserve where the trails disappeared. His pack was light. His boots were worn. His mind was quiet. He was seeking solitude. What he found was the ultimate challenge. It was late afternoon. The light that filtered down was a sickly green. Elias paused by a stream. The water was clear, icy cold. He knelt to refill his canteen. That's when he noticed it. The silence. The stream still flowed. But the small sounds of the woods had vanished. The rustle of the ground squirrels. The high chatter of the jays. The constant hum of hidden insects. All gone. He froze. His fingers resting on the aluminum canteen. Elias was trained. He didn't panic. He didn't move fast. He moved his eyes. Slowly. Scanning the dense tree line. Looking for the cause. A large deer. A passing bear. Or something worse. He rose to a crouch. His pack suddenly feeling too heavy. His heart started a slow rhythmic drum against his ribs. He knew this stillness. It was the stillness before a strike. Elias turned slowly. His senses stretched thin. He was looking for movement. A flicker of tawny hide. The twitch of a tail. He saw nothing. But then he saw a sign on the ground. A single large print in the damp soil near the stream's edge. It was too big for a bobcat. Too rounded for a coyote. It was a cougar. A male. Big. And fresh. Not 10 minutes old. He adjusted his backpack. His mind immediately shifted from hiking to survival. Do not run. Do not panic. The rules played on an endless loop in his head. He started walking again. Not on the trail, but parallel to the stream, where the ground was more open. His head swiveled constantly. Every shadow was suspect. Every snapped twig was a potential threat. He hiked for 30 minutes. Nothing. The forest began to exhale again. A bird chirped tentatively. A squirrel scolded from a branch. Elias almost sighed in relief. He thought the ghost had moved on. He thought he was safe. He was wrong. He reached a narrow, rocky pass. The kind of place a hunter loves. High ground, cover, and easy ambush point. He moved into the pass. And that's when he felt it. The unmistakable sensation of being watched. Not just a passing glance, but intense, focused scrutiny. The kind that prickles the back of your neck. He stopped dead center in the pass. A terrible location. But turning his back now felt like a death sentence. Show yourself, he said. His voice was firm, calm. He didn't yell. He projected confidence. Silence answered him. The shadows remained still. He raised his trekking poles above his head, making himself instantly appear bigger. A crucial survival step. He unclipped the whistle attached to his pack strap. He waited. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. Then from the ridge line above, a low, guttural sound. Whoa. It wasn't a roar. It was a cough. A soft, rough inhalation of breath. A mountain lion making its presence known. The hair on Elias's arms stood up. He locked his eyes on the ridge. He finally saw it. Not the full animal. Just the ears. Tipped black. Poking up over a granite boulder. The lion was sitting. Watching. Testing him. Elias knew the drill. Rule 1. Never take your eyes off the predator. Rule 2. Never crouch down or bend over. Rule 3. Be loud, be large, be mean. He let out a short, sharp blast on the whistle. A high-pitched shriek that broke the silence. The ears disappeared. Elias didn't move. He scanned for the next sign. Did it retreat? Or did it circle? He looked down the pass to his right. A long, thick branch lay across the ground. A perfect weapon. But to get it, he would have to drop his guard. He would have to break Rule 2. He calculated the risk. He needed a deterrent. He needed the branch. He kept his body facing the ridge. His trekking pole still held high. He began to shuffle sideways. One deliberate, slow step after another. Like a crab. He was 15 feet from the branch. He shuffled 5 more feet. The only sound was the slight scraping of his boots on rock. He felt the tension intensify. He knew the ghost was following his movement, watching for the exact moment of weakness. He reached the branch. It was heavy, half-decayed oak. Perfect. He kept his eyes glued to the ridge. He knelt slightly. The movement was brief. A quarter-second dip. His hand shot out, gripped the branch, and rose back to full height. He did not look down. He did not flinch. He raised the branch horizontally, adding 3 feet of width to his silhouette. He was now 6 feet wide, and 8 feet tall with the poles and the branch. He was a monster. A sound came from the dense ferns to his left. Whoosh! Closer now. The lion had dropped down from the ridge. It was moving in for the attack. Elias swung the heavy branch. Not at the sound, but in front of him. Crack. The wood hit a rock face with a sound like a rifle shot. He yelled. A deep, primal sound that had nothing to do with fear, and everything to do with dominance. Hey, back off. He blew the whistle again. 3 short, aggressive blasts. It was noise. It was fury. It was the one thing the ghost was not expecting. Most prey runs. Most prey cowers. Most prey makes themselves small. Elias was a wall of noise and size. The rustling stopped. The air was still again. He could feel the lion's confusion, its hesitation. A mountain lion is an assassin. It does not fight a fair fight. It stalks, ambushes, and kills with a swift, crushing bite. When the ambush fails, its confidence wavers. Elias slowly took a step forward. Then another. He was walking toward the sound. The aggressive walk of a predator. He took a 3rd step. He saw the lion now, low to the ground, taut muscles ready to spring. Its golden eyes fixed on him. It was magnificent and terrifying. Elias took 1 more step. He did not stop yelling. Not words, just sheer volume. The lion twitched. Not forward, backward. Its tail flicked once. Then, with a burst of silent motion, the ghost was gone. Up the rock face, over the ridge, vanished into the green chaos. Elias stood there, branch held high, whistle between his lips. He stayed that way for 10 full minutes, until his heart rate began to slow. He had faced the predator, and the predator had blinked first. Elias lowered the branch. He checked his surroundings. He was safe, for now. He knew he couldn't stay there. The lion might return. He had to get out of its territory. He picked up his pace, hiking fast but not running. He kept the large branch with him, a final insurance policy. He walked until the light faded completely, and the redwood forest became a maze of black and gray. He found a cluster of 4 large boulders. He set up a small, smokeless fire. He slept in a tight ball, the branch and his poles next to him. He barely slept. Every snap of a twig made him jump. He survived the night. The next morning, he broke camp at the first hint of light. He ate a protein bar. He began the long hike out. He was exhausted, but alive. 3 hours later, he heard a sound that was not the forest. A distant engine drone. A vehicle. He was close to a logging road. He ran the last quarter mile, bursting through the undergrowth onto a gravel track. A few hundred yards away, a green and white park ranger truck was parked. Officer Jenna Reyes was checking a trail marker. She looked up, startled. Elias walked toward her. He was covered in dirt. His eyes were wide, his massive branch still in hand. "Sir, are you all right?" she asked. Reyes approached him cautiously. "I had a close encounter," Elias said. His voice was hoarse. "A big cat. Well, I think he was stalking me for a while." Reyes's expression didn't change. She walked past him to look at the ground where he had emerged. She saw the size of his boots, and then she saw the branch. She looked back at Elias. "That was smart," she said, nodding at the makeshift weapon. "Most people run. They become dinner." "I know the rules," Elias replied. "But you don't survive by just knowing the rules. You survive by enforcing them." Reyes reached into the cab of her truck. She pulled out a small notepad. "Tell me exactly where this happened, Elias." He gave her the coordinates. She wrote them down. She was quiet for a moment. Then she looked up. "We lost a dog in that area 2 days ago," she said. "And a deer carcass was found 2 miles north of your coordinates. This cat is hungry. And bold." She paused. "You're lucky to be standing here, Elias Vance." Elias looked back at the deep, dark woods. "Luck had nothing to do with it, Officer Reyes. I faced the ghost. And I refused to be prey. The ultimate lesson of survival isn't found in a book. It's found in the moment the knife comes out. When fear dictates one action and knowledge dictates another." Elias understood that a predator attacks the vulnerable, the small, the weak, the running. He defied every instinct. He made himself a giant. He made himself an attacker. He changed the narrative. He didn't wait to be rescued. He rescued himself. He walked out of that forest with more than his life. He walked out with the knowledge that he could stand his ground when the world tried to devour him. That is true strength. If this story reminded you of the power of preparedness, of the importance of facing your fears head-on, then don't let it vanish into the darkness. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories of human defiance against nature's fury, and share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that sometimes the only way to survive the predator is to face it. Do not go quietly. Be loud. Be large. Be saved.